This is a continuation of last episode where we wanted to include the rebuild of Newcastle, but instead
we were rambling on too long.
Yeah, so we made a separate video.
We're basically wafflers, and so we need more time, and so we're making a separate video.
Yes,
exactly.
Yes. So welcome to the Newcastle rebuild.
Yes, sir.
This is gonna be heat. I hope we all cooked.
Genuinely, I'm excited to see what people have.
Wait. So just to introduce what this is gonna be, or at least what I've done. Maybe you guys have done it a little differently, but it's the same concept. What we've done here is we've spotted last episode that Newcastle have some FFP issues, and we were discussing.
Yeah.
We had a pretty heavy discussion over should you sell Isak to then buy new players, which I was
That never
against.
made it out. It never made it onto the recording.
Regardless, that is a
that
big
gives you some context.
discussion point, which is why we've gone here to delve more deeply into not just selling Isak, into what should Newcastle do
This
which is
summer.
perfect because Dan Ashworth, who is their director of football, had just left Newcastle to come to United, which means that we will be coming in and replacing Dan Ashworth.
Okay.
And so
listen, I'm just saying it would be a very good decision from Newcastle Football Club, and if I can get some Saudi money, I get some Saudi money.
Yeah.
You know, like
Because for them a little bit is a lot for us, man.
yeah.
Public Investment Fund, I see you.
Bros,
We love
you. Won't
you.
notice what's gone, but I will.
Love you.
Public Investment Fund, come at me, bro.
All right, so
Wait, let me introduce.
Okay,
the FFP
explain it all.
ruling,
Explain it all.
okay?
Explain it all.
So, to give some context, right now, Newcastle's loss for Premier League sustainability rules, they need to have, you can't have more of 75% of your revenue be a loss than your revenue. You get what I'm trying to say? You can't have more than 70.
No fucking
You
way.
can't
No,
have. You can't have over 75% of your revenue be losses. So your loss can't be more than
75% of your revenue.
Newcastle are just above over that, but this is not counting the Champions League money and other little new sponsors that they have.
Yeah.
Adidas next season. This is not counting
Is
that.
Adidas coming in next season
Yes,
for sure?
yes.
Fire.
So this is not counting those
There'll be 6
things.
shirts, I can't
So
lie.
they're just above the FFP as it stands. Like FFP, they're just above.
So
the
how
allowed
much
limit.
in our scenario, or like in this scenario,
In our
how much do you
you-
say that they have to free up beyond which you can start
anything
making
you spend,
signings?
you have to free up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I thought I had to.
No, but free up in the sense of like you
Sell,
free up,
like-
like you sell one player, you get like a way bigger budget. Like, so if you sell a player for like 80
I'll
mil,
explain it. Look, how it actually works is very complicated. I can briefly try and explain it.
Sure.
I was looking into this earlier. How it actually works is that when you buy a player for say 30 mil, right? FFP, nothing goes out because in the books, in your accounting books, that is an asset of 30 million. So you've paid 30 million to receive 30 million, so nothing's gone up or down. Where FFP comes in is that you've now bought a player for 30 million. What they do is they look at how long is the contract, and then every year you take off 30 million divided by years of contract until it goes to zero when the contract is done.
Yeah.
So this is why some of those
Chelsea's
crazy
Joe-
sentences
yes.
Why they spent
to get around the
so
thing,
many.
yeah.
That's how it actually works.
Okay.
We don't have all that in-depth
Yeah.
info. So what I've decided to do for my thing is that if I sell a player for 10 mil, I get 30 mil of space. So 3x.
which is a little bit pushing it in my
Which is
opinion.
pushing it a little bit, but I've got space left. It's not like I've spent.
Okay,
everything.
okay.
Yeah, I've got a little bit of space. left.
I think that's too overpowered.
I didn't
I'm
triple.
making
I didn't
an
triple.
I would make an unbelievable team.
No,
with
but
that.
regardless,
With that rule, like I'm telling you,
but
I'm
you have
getting
to- no,
Newcastle
but-
compete for the league
No,
next
but
season.
no.
Oh,
listen,
my
listen.
team might just
No,
like.
but I haven't ran crazy with it. It's still realistic.
Yeah.
And also, like,
But
that
we'll
3x,
get it.
that 3x is not just for this. That's for next 3 years.
We don't have
Yeah.
money to spend just from the start. Like you have to. You just say
Yeah,
we'll
you
have
have
to
to
sell,
sell.
Yeah,
and then
you have to
you
sell.
can see.
For sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
No, but that
We'll try and keep it as realistic as possible.
No,
Don't,
I've
you know.
tried to keep it
Yeah.
as realistic as I
Counts.
could have.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Sounds good.
So who wants to start? Because I feel like
I'm the
You
guest.
know what? Yeah.
I'm
Go-
the guest.
go for it, go for
I'll
it.
start.
Go on.
Go for it.
So basically, I've decided like you need to sell because there's a
Yeah.
couple of places that I think I'm quite optimistic about the future of Newcastle. I
agree.
like the
I agree.
squad.
I
I
agree.
like the squad. I think there's a lot of really talented players.
Yeah.
And I think there's quite a lot of deadwood
Yeah,
that can
that can
fairly
just be-
easily be
get
shuffled
rid.
on.
Yeah.
I think Alexander Isak is an absolute superstar, and he's the player you live to regret selling. I believe that Isak is the type of talent that like could be a top 3, top 5 striker in the world.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that if you sell, so it depends of what your ambitions are as a club. But if you're a club that wants to compete for trophies, or if you're a club that wants to one day be competing for Champions Leagues, Premier Leagues, you need to have a striker or at least an attacking player, the quality like that has a ceiling that Isak has.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think there's a certain limit of players that have that type of ceiling, and if you get one, you keep him.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
fairly
You can't
against
sell him.
selling
Yeah,
Isak, and
cannot
so
sell him.
that's kind of I've not gone down that approach.
I understand.
Yes.
Someone has to go, and I think it's Joe Ellington. I think
What?
I think it's Joe
Bro,
Ellington.
Joe Ellington's gonna free up. First of all, he's already signing a long-term deal now.
Yeah,
like he's about to sign a long-term
I
deal.
don't think they will. Because I
How
think
much
they really
money do you
like
get for him?
Transfer
I've
market
looked-
suggests 42 million.
Yeah. Which means
42.
which
You're never
means that
getting
the
42.
asking
If you
no,
can-
but
if
the
you
asking
can-
price is always more than
If
transfer
you can
market as well.
sell Joe Ellington for 42 million, I think you take it and you run.
Yeah.
No, but I think
Bro,
it'll be,
but
it'll
I
be
think
50, bro.
sprinting
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
after that.
But I think like 35 million is probably a realistic price. Like he's a genuinely like
No,
he
but
could be.
I
a
think
Players
he,
don't
I think
sell.
he's one of their most important
Yeah.
players.
Yeah, but
I
players don't sell
understand
for
that.
less than their transfer market.
No,
they sell for
should.
more.
So they
They
so
sell- so
he
I
might
would
sell
say
for
50.
more. If he sells for 50 million, I think you sell him.
Wow.
No, but I think
okay.
no, I think he
But-
goes for he's Premier
But
League proven.
I think there are other places that I think are better. I think first of all, I think Kieran Trippier goes.
No, that makes no sense.
And let me
that makes
explain.
no sense.
Let
that
me
makes
land.
no sense.
Let me land. Trippier is a defensive liability. You have to accept with Newcastle.
Wait,
Newcastle
before you
with
go,
his
wait,
FFP,
before you go
yeah.
too deep, keep or sell how? Keep or go.
I think we can all establish that it's time for how to go.
No, I don't disagree. I don't agree with that.
I'm not sure.
I don't agree with
I'm
that.
not sure.
I wouldn't
I
get
think it
rid of-
depends.
Guys,
bro,
that's a
I was
step-
looking
that's a
through,
step
I was
up.
looking
No, I
through
wouldn't, I
all
wouldn't.
the managers that are available, and I've got a list of the ones that I think might be good. And the list is Graham Potter ? Antonio Conte, Hansi Flick, and then I'm like, is
Bro.
Hansi
Flick
Flick
ain't going
There's
there.
so
Flick
many
gonna go-
more.
I know,
No,
but I know there are
there's
more.
not.
But
Because
I'm
of
saying, like,
the market.
is Flick gonna go to Newcastle?
No.
I don't think Flick's gonna go to Newcastle.
Why don't you sign Nagelsmann, bro?
Nagelsmann's not going.
I don't
to
think he would go. I don't
Newcastle.
think he would go to
What?
Newcastle.
Nagelsmann
I think he
is
might.
not
He
staying
might.
in
He might.
Germany
He might.
after.
He might.
First of all, he's linked to Dortmund, right?
But obviously, okay. But
Yeah.
basically, my point with How is
Yeah,
this:
go for
if you can get a good quality manager, someone who's managed at the top, at the elite, who has that type of experience and
You
who has a
take it,
vision for the
but
club, you
can't.
take him.
You can't.
If you
Who?
can't, and if you're going to end up with someone who's like a mediocre manager, you might as well stick with Howe because I think he
Exactly.
has potential and he's already turned
No,
this team.
guys, stop it.
Bro,
Get
he's
out of
been
your head,
good.
bro.
He's
There's
been
no
good.
potential there.
No, on top
Bro,
of that,
the first Newcastle last season, like obviously
Yeah.
this season's been a disaster,
No,
but
but on
last
top of
season
that-
Newcastle were like a genuinely
Yeah, but
very
you can't
well
put
organized
this-
team.
You can't put this season's failure
Exclusively,
on Howe.
no.
Look at the injuries.
No.
Look at the Tonali suspension. Like how?
No, but look, okay,
he's
you
not
look at think of it in
A-
football
S tier.
senses, right? Just because you've played a correct pass just because your pass has made it to the person, right? Doesn't mean you've made the correct decision. Just because it works, just because it has worked, doesn't mean it's the step for the future. The step for the
Yeah, but if
future
you
is
score,
to
you
upgrade your
score.
manager. Yeah, but they don't score.
No, of course
They're
they
eighth.
don't score.
Or they're like seventh, bro.
Listen, they've not been good this season, and I would get rid of Howe if you have a
Yeah,
very good
bro,
replacement
There's
ready.
so many people in the
Yeah,
market.
but I'm not so sure.
Name 3.
Yeah.
You can. First of all, you can snatch up Luis Enrique. You can snap.
I don't
first of all,
think he goes to
that-
Newcastle
that
from
sporting
PSG.
that sporting guy, right?
He's going Liverpool.
Yeah, okay.
No,
He's
bro,
the
I think he might, I
favorite
think he
for
might, I think he
Liverpool.
might.
yeah,
Liverpool.
yeah.
He's the favorite at Liverpool.
Okay, regardless, De Zerbi would love a bigger budget,
But
right?
De Zerbi's also not going to Newcastle. De Zerbi's going to a big
No,
club.
because nobody is throwing enough money at him, or like at anyone.
Yeah, but they've got FFP hanging right over the head more than any other club. Why would you spend it on a manager?
In terms of salary,
That's also FFP.
No, it's not,
Yes,
bro.
it is.
You
Wages
can
is the biggest part of FFP.
bro, what? You can play your players like a million, bro.
No, and also with the sustainability, the profitability and sustainability rules in the Prem, wages play a massive part in that as well.
Bro.
Like you can't they're really they're tracking down
Yeah.
on that a lot, bro. You can't do that,
No.
bro.
You
Okay,
can, bro.
okay. Let me quickly
Okay,
explain.
yeah, let him just go through it.
Let me
Let him
let me
go
just
through
go
it.
through
Let
my
him
whole
go
thing,
through
and then
Go
we'll
for it. Go for it.
I think manager, if you can get a good manager in, I would. I quite like Graham Potter actually for them because I think some of the things he did at Brighton, at least he instills a style of football that's interesting.
No, Howe is better.
I'd
But
rather
I
stay
think,
with
I,
stick
exactly.
with Howe
I
then.
think
Howe's
I think
better.
if you can get maybe like a top manager, fine. Otherwise, I don't think Howe's the end of the world. Because I think with Newcastle, I think you have to accept maybe you're not going to be great next season, but you have a couple of quite exciting young players, and you have a mix of like some very, very talented people that are still quite young. And I think there's this sort of mix of generations, which kind of works, but sometimes doesn't.
Yeah.
So I think, for example, you accept that maybe you're not going to be elite next season, but you have Livramento, who I think is better defensively than Trippier is. And I
Back up
think,
to Trippier.
yeah, he's been a backup, but I would argue that I don't think
but
it's
he
outrageous.
gradually overtakes him, though.
Yes, maybe, but I'm saying like if you need to sell players, I don't think it's outrageous to sell someone like Trippier,
Okay.
who's 33.
How much money do you get
Yeah,
for
but
Trippier?
you're not getting. That's the main issue. You're not going to get money.
20
Bro,
something.
nobody's paying
you're
20
not,
mil.
You're not.
You're
You're
not.
not.
Who?
You're not.
Who? Who's
not
will? No,
selling
exactly,
me,
exactly.
but
Like the concept
you're
of
not
paying
gonna
20
get-
mil for Trippier makes
you're
sense,
not.
but he's old.
He's
He's injury prone. He's not worth
You're
20
not
mil.
getting 20 mil for him. That's the issue. His age is the issue.
The most you're getting for him.
like a mid-table team. I could see like Nottingham Forest signing him for like 15, 20 mil.
but he won't go.
No,
Like, he
no,
wouldn't
no,
go.
no,
Like,
can't
I
see
think
it.
he would.
I can't
bro,
I
see
think
he
he
was
would.
he was the first person to believe in the
Yeah,
project.
he
He was the
started
first
this
person
project.
to move it.
They're
Yeah.
not. They're never going to move him from an emotional standpoint because he was the one who was there and he's the
Yeah.
leader and he's the captain. But I don't think it's a terrible move.
Bro,
to let him
he's
go.
one of the
No, I
top
can't see it.
assisters in the league.
I
Like,
understand.
like,
I understand. I understand.
injury prone, this,
I
that,
understand.
right?
I
No, we
understand.
both disagree with this.
Yeah.
That's fine.
We both
That's fine.
heavily disagree.
That's fine.
with
That's
this.
fine.
And you
that's
think
fine,
you're gonna
that's
make
fine.
20 mil off of him? That's
Listen,
like,
Yeah.
I'm saying
look.
if you can let him go for 20 mil, you let him go for 20 mil. I'm saying you get like you have a ready-made replacement, and I think like I don't want to sell Trippier. I'm saying like if you desperately need to, I actually thought the way I wrote this down was I thought like you have to reach a certain point. Like it's not just like
No,
oh
it's
what
not,
you
it's
send
not,
you
it's
can
not, it's
spell.
not.
I
No,
thought you
yeah.
had to sell like
No,
50,
no.
60 mil.
No. It's
Yeah,
just like
well,
cover-
you do have
to
to because
spend because you
To-
need
yeah,
to
but to
spend.
spend-
no, but
yeah, you need-
Newcastle in general need to make 40. Like besides anything, they need to make 40 mil this summer. They need to. They have to.
no,
They have to.
no.
Did you read the
I'm
article I
pretty sure
said?
you
They
did have
need
to.
to.
I'm pretty sure you have
they,
to.
They need to make
that
money
was why
this summer.
what my point was. You sell Joe Ellington, which
yeah.
just covers all the money. He's
Yeah.
like if he's around 40 mil,
Yeah,
he covers all
he
the
would
money
cover
you
it
have
for
to.
sure,
Like,
for sure.
He covers all the money you have to, and then you sell someone like,
Yeah.
for example, Callum Wilson. Because
How much money do you get for Callum
No,
Wilson?
Callum
I think you
Injury
get a
prone
decent- I think you
again.
get a decent
Again.
amount because like he's been proven that if he plays, he scores goals,
Yes.
and he scores goals at
His
any
goals
level.
per minute ratio is
He
absurd.
scored like he will score goals for any Premier League team.
That's true.
So I think you like there
I think
is
Bournemouth
definitely
take
a
him for
market.
20 mil this
yeah.
summer.
And I think if they
No,
sell
but
if they sell yeah, but if they
Solanke-
sell Solanke
Yeah, maybe.
and they need a like you need a cheap replacement,
Yeah.
Callum
Yeah.
Wilson's someone you go
No,
to.
but he's not reliable.
For example, no, of course he's not reliable. He's not. I'm not saying he's reliable, but I
No, in
think
terms
like
Their
of
front line
injuries,
doesn't
that is,
re-
yeah.
but like,
need
bro,
him
if you're
per
playing for like
se.
if you're playing for a mid-table team, like for example, like you don't think, I don't know, the West Ham idea comes up again, but like for example, Crystal Palace, bro, suddenly you're just like if like Mateta
Yeah.
and their striker Edward's not really panning
No,
out for
Wilson
them,
would work
like,
there. Wilson would
Wilson
work
could
there.
Yeah.
get 15, 17 goals a season easy, you know.
That's a
pushing
lot
it
of
a little
goals.
bit.
I
That's
think
a
if,
lot
if
of
he's
goals.
healthy, if he's healthy,
If he's healthy
if
for an
he's
entire
healthy
season,
for a whole season at Palace and like he's
14,
starting
15,
9, like he's
14,
getting
15.
15 goals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's not gonna be healthy.
no
You stick
chance.
him on pens as well, unless they're like Eze's still taking him, but like,
Yeah.
whatever. So I also had a question mark. I had a question mark at Harvey Barnes, which I don't.
You
want
can't
to
sell
do.
him, though.
I don't want to sell him because I think the front three of him, Isak, and Gordon. I think that's a genuinely fairly good front three.
I don't think so.
But I think his best position is probably off the left,
Yes.
and I think Gordon's
Yeah,
best position's off the left.
Exactly.
And so I see a bit
I
where it's like
understand that
I
one.
think Gordon's better than Barnes, and if I can sell him
Yeah,
whilst
of
his like stock is still quite high, like
Yeah.
because
But you
That one
just
makes
signed him
sense.
for
Transfer-
50 mil, no? Like, how much did he go to
it was
Newcastle
quite.
for?
That's
It was
the
a
thing,
hefty amount.
Yeah, but that's
bro.
I don't think it was
No,
50.
but like
They
maybe like
relegated,
35,
so
40.
yeah,
Yeah, but
yeah.
still, bro,
but
they
I think-
finessed a lot
I
of money
know,
for
but he's also
lesser
been
players.
injured. Like he's been injured like for the first half of the season, and I'm like just thinking that he's like if I have to sell at some positions, I feel like a right winger, he's someone who's going to play off the right, but is actually probably best off the left, and Gordon's
But
best
you
off the
can't
left. You
sell
might as well
him.
let him go.
You can't. Like, nobody's
I think
going
you
to
can.
sign him.
I think you can.
Who's
I think
gonna
there's a
sign
market
him?
for Barnes. I think there's a market for Barnes.
Bro,
There's a
you
market.
just signed him.
I know. I understand
And
that.
I
I understand
think
that. But someone has
as-
to go, Nicola. Like someone
Yeah,
has to go.
I
It's
know,
not just like
I
you
know,
can
but I
choose.
know, I
Like,
know.
I don't want to sell any of these
But
players because they're useful players.
I,
you
for
know?
example, with Gordon, I didn't even consider it. I didn't even.
No, Gordon doesn't
didn't
get
even
touched.
consider
Gordon
it
doesn't get touched.
because
Staying,
he's
bro.
so recently signed.
No, but also because he's unbelievable.
Yeah,
no,
he's
but
not
you can
leaving.
get 80 mil for Gordon, 70 mil for Gordon for sure.
Probably more because
Even Newcastle, Even Newcastle would pay that.
Yes,
And
I
don't use the
agree,
Everton
I
shout
agree,
because they were
I
close to
agree,
signing
I
him
agree,
off of
I agree.
Everton as
And
well.
I agree, but there's a reason for that, and I'd rather sell Barnes and Gordon because I think Gordon's younger. Gordon's like 23.
Okay,
bro.
but
Like,
when
like-
Gordon's injured or not fit, who starts?
yeah, Barnes.
that's when you
obviously.
need Barnes.
Of course.
Yeah,
But
but
I'm
he
not
needs
saying.
to
But if you
develop
have to
as
sell
well.
someone, you have to sell someone. Like at some point, it's like, am I go? Yeah, obviously it's nice to
But
have
why
Harvey
would
Barnes
you
to come
sell
off the
4
bench
players if you can sell 1? That makes more money than all those 4 players.
because he has such a ceiling. I know you're talking about Isaac, I imagine, or Grimaris. Anyway.
I'll go last. I'll go last.
So then basically let's say like, okay, you sell Harvey Barnes and you sell Joe Wellington, and that gives you quite a lot to work with.
Yeah, that gives you quite a lot.
Yeah, and if you manage to make some money for Trippier, as
I'm
well.
banking. Oh, I also wanted to maybe like other than Barnes, like Longstaff or something like that.
Yeah,
like that's a
Yeah,
player.
okay.
But,
You
like,
get
I
6
didn't
mil
wanna-
from
I didn't wanna say-
Nottingham for that.
Transfermarkt thinks he's 25.
Yeah, okay. Well,
But
Transfermarkt is clearly delusional.
I wrote it down, but I feel bad saying it because it's like if you can
Bro.
sell a Longstaff for 25, like you don't even.
I'm sorry.
You sign the papers and take it to the airport
it's a
tomorrow.
common known fact. It's
Like,
a common
he's not
fact
good, yeah.
that Transfermarkt with their things is just incorrect.
Also,
they
also
lowball.
Longstaff. Also,
Some.
Also,
No,
Longstaff, like
some
all the
players.
time,
English
though.
players that like they count towards their like homegrown and stuff that you need to like
Yeah.
for squad registration and stuff
No,
like that.
no, it's
Shout out
it's the
Football
tax as
Manager.
well.
Shout out FM,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah, no, facts. No,
Um,
but like English tax is a real thing.
Yeah.
It's a real thing.
So they won't do that, but I think that's something that they could do. So for example, let's say they sold Joe Ellington and Harvey Barnes.
Mhm.
I think that gives them quite a nice bit to work with.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of positions that I think that they need. I think if you're Newcastle, what you do is you build a core, and then from there you expand. And I think you have a couple of members of your core. I think Isaac, Bruno Guimaraes, and I think Botman
Yeah.
are really like that's a spine of a
Yeah.
team that you can build around, especially adding Gordon. And I think you hope that Tonali comes back in August. And
He will. He will.
And
He
it's
will.
no,
He
but like
comes
I
back
know
in
that,
June,
he
no,
comes back, in
officially?
August he can officially start. But like next
he's already
season-
been training with
Yeah,
them.
like
No,
next
he'll
season.
be back. He'll
like-
be back.
But I mean, like that he's back at that level that he was.
It'll
at
take some
100%.
time, but he will
but
get there.
exactly
He
because
will
it's
get
also
there.
not an injury thing.
No,
Like it's
no,
not a
no,
thing. So,
no.
so I've kind of also that was one of the reasons I went for Joe Wellington is because I think like, do you need
No, for
3?
sure, it makes
Like
sense.
I think you have 2 very good centre mids. Do you need a third one?
But-
Maybe not.
No,
I think
no.
what
and
Joel-
Lewis
If you
Miley,
have to-
Lewis
exactly.
Miley as well.
If you have to make a sacrifice, I think it makes sense for it to be there.
No, it makes the most sense. Yeah.
Okay, so I think you need a centre back to partner Botman, and I was thinking a couple of like long term. Like I really like Hincapié. Like that's also a Latin thing that
Fair
I love.
enough.
Hincapié.
Fair enough.
2 left-footed centre backs though. I don't love. Hincapié is also
Botman-
left-footed.
Botman's not
Yeah,
left-footed. He
he
is?
is. Yeah. They're both left-footed. So like they're
but
both.
Cher is also left-footed.
Is he?
Yeah, no, I swear he scores all of his goals with his left foot.
I
I
thought Cher was
swear
right-footed.
he's a left foot merchant.
He might be. I thought he was right-footed.
I can double check.
But he definitely like I know Botman is Botman is left-footed, like left-sided centre back,
Yeah,
and
fair.
Hincapié is as well. So I don't love that.
Yeah, that's fair. But Botman's out.
So I
for
was someone like Matthijs de
time.
Ligt. I like, but it depends on what the money's gonna look
Ooh,
like.
yeah.
It's
No, I don't like
feasible,
it.
but I think it's nice. I think he could use with the change in scenery.
What's his value though?
It's set like
De
okay.
Ligt,
I'm
bro,
going.
just
all
signed
of these
for 80
numbers.
mil
All of these.
from Bayern.
All of these numbers are going
Yeah,
off
that's-
transfer market.
yeah.
Yeah.
But transfer market suggested like 50 million.
Yeah, you could
And
get
I
him for
think
like
if you
70
can, if you
then.
can get him for around that, considering what
70.
you've like 60s ish, I think it's
Yeah.
worth it because I think he has potential to be like him and Botman could be like
Yeah, that's
a really like he is a bit of an
ultimate chemistry as
upside.
well.
Like he's a bit of an upside pick
They
because like he
come-
could be. They could
yeah.
also both be injured and miss half the season, and you're
Nah,
playing
that's
Lascelles
true.
and Dan Burn at centre back again.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I think De Ligt is too much clumsiness for
For the Premier
But so
League
then,
as
if you're
well.
looking
Yeah.
really long term, you know Dean Housen from
He's
Roma.
right.
Yeah, yeah,
right-footed,
I
he's
saw
right.
him. I
Botman.
saw him. I saw him.
You mean
Cher,
he is,
Cher's
yeah.
right-footed.
I'm fairly confident.
Yeah,
I've seen him
Dean
take free
Housen,
kicks
I
from
saw
the
him
right.
as well. Yeah.
Dean Housen,
yeah.
I really like. He's
Yeah.
only 19. He plays like starts most games for Roma. He's
Yeah.
really impressive.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I've seen like. There's this one goal I'm sure you must have seen on your Instagram or
I've seen
something
it,
that
I've
he
seen
like
it.
picks up the ball and
Dribbles,
like carries
through the whole
sends it,
and
yeah,
places
yeah.
it in.
I watched that. It's-
Yeah.
I really like. So I like Housen, and if not, I think someone like Christensen or Pavard could be really nice in the right centre.
I don't think
Yeah.
Christensen leaves though.
I don't think
Fair.
Christensen leaves, but if we're talking about teams that could use some money, if someone comes in with like a 35 million offer for Christensen,
That's
I
a
think
Oh,
you turn
for
heads.
sure,
Yeah.
for sure
And I
he's
think,
gone.
and I think even 30 something mil.
But
I think
okay,
Pavard, I think what you
Pavard's
like
just signed
next to
for Inter
Botman-
Milan though.
Yes, he's no Pavard's not gonna go.
It's too much money.
Like it's probably too much money, but I like that style of player next
Yeah,
to Botman.
fair.
You know?
Fair.
Like a ball
Yeah.
player, and I think you also it would be nice to have for Newcastle to have like a bit more solid like solidity because I'm also not signing a goalkeeper, and Nick Pope isn't particularly great at build up. So if you have
Yeah,
like
that's fair.
you know
That's fair.
if you have like I think Nick Pope, like I would like to change him, but I
would
don't think it's a
keep him, though.
priority.
Yeah, it's not a priority.
So I think I would rather go for a centre back partnership that's like I maybe think Housen because he's young, and I think Cher still has another season or two.
Yeah. I think that makes sense.
But yeah, so then I also think you need some attacking options, especially if you let go of Harvey Barnes, because Almiron, like when he plays, he can be good, but he's also very injury.
He's on my sales list.
And if you're letting, I kind of like it, but I wanted to keep him because I think he's a natural off the right, and I quite like
for
that.
depth. It's also useful.
I like. There's a couple of players I like here. I like Danny Olmo because I think he's due a move to some big club at some point.
How much is he gonna be though?
He's gonna be 65 mil at least.
Yeah. 60 million.
You're paying 60 million for Danny Olmo.
Yeah, you're paying a lot of money.
But I think Danny Olmo has he's a type of player that it's a profile that they don't have at the club.
Physical, like how system physical.
No, so that's another thing. It also depends a lot on the system. Like obviously, if you're getting
but if you're gonna keep Howe,
if you're gonna keep Howe, you want athletes. I kind of that's also why I sort of hesitate because I think the Howe system works. But I think if you have someone like Isaac, I also want a team that's just gonna like allow him to also play football. You know, like I feel like him and like an Arteta ball. Obviously, is like this has been said that Isaac would be so good at Arsenal. But a team that plays football maximizes Isaac's strengths, and that's why I think like bringing in players that can play football, that can get in pockets of space and create chances for him would be really nice.
You know, now I'm thinking about it. If Newcastle got Iraola off Bournemouth,
I don't hate it.
Yeah,
that's
the manager's name, right?
Yeah. I actually quite like.
Ridiculous.
Now that I'm thinking about
that, I would quite like that.
That would actually be a big. Yeah, but carry on.
I also like Brahim Diaz, but I don't think they're gonna get him.
No, that's not. I don't think that's.
Did you have him?
I don't think that's doable.
Did you have him written down?
I don't think that's doable. How much is he gonna be?
It's so doable.
I think it's very doable.
But Real Madrid,
I don't think
listen.
Especially if they get Chumbi.
He's young.
He doesn't start.
If he gets
they need to
Chumbi,
sell
they get Chumbi. Like he's not. He's gonna be down the depth chart. Like I reckon you can get
Brahim
him for
50.
Around there. I would even say
I have him. And this is when I didn't even look transfer market, right? I can check transfer market. I had 50 mil for Brahim.
Yeah. I did just to get like a ballpark for numbers, you know?
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
But yeah, so basically you sell Joe Ellington and you sell, for example, Harvey Barnes, maybe a Callum Wilson instead of Harvey Barnes, something along that line.
Yeah.
And you rebuild the core of the team that's built around Botman and Housen, for example, centre-back partnership with Bruno and Tonali in front of them and Isaac up top.
No, that's solid.
And then you build around that with players that are a bit more creative, a bit more flair, like Danny Olmo or Brahim Diaz. And you allow like Isaac and Gordon to be your sort of powerful runners, but you allow someone like Olmo and Diaz to sort of drop into like half spaces to like play them, and I think that would be a really nice balance.
Yeah,
and I think you kind of fix your financial problems in that way because neither of them are marquee signings.
Let me just quickly say, transfer market values Brahim Diaz at 35 million.
Yeah, so it would be like 50 then. Yeah,
tomorrow for 35.
35 million is a steal for him. I'm sorry.
No, but now that I mentioned Iraola, Gary O'Neil is also a fucking shout.
Yeah, he's also decent.
I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. How is not the way for the future? But there's so
I think there are better options than I do agree. There are definitely better options.
Bro, I'm sorry. I don't need to say it again. I just think how's
okay. I'm giving you my last names. So these are just more like people that I find fun. I would like Ryan Cherky from Lyon.
Too much of.
I understand. But I would love to see him play in. I'd love to see him play in Premier League. And I think like he's one of those players that right now his like stock is very low because there's all this stuff has come out.
Yeah.
And if you can he's the type of talent that you get him in the right situation and suddenly you've got a world beater, or suddenly in 2-3 seasons you've got a player that's worth 80 mil.
I'd rather sign Fekir in that position.
No,
as a more central player.
Shaqiri's also much younger, bro.
I know, but you want somebody that will win you games right now, and I think Fekir would do a better job.
But that's the thing is, I think Newcastle shouldn't try to win games right now. I think they should try to win games 2 seasons from now.
But instill a winner's
but you gotta work for the future. As Newcastle,
I think you have to accept that, right? Like you gotta, especially with now FFP being somewhat. A significant like it's becoming more and more of a thing people like clubs actually have to think about.
And
you have to build more you have to build more intelligently, and you have to build a bit more cautiously and for the future. And I think you realize that the window where Isaac and Gordon and Botman are at their peak might be 2 seasons from now. So you build to have it around it then.
I've built for 2 seasons from now.
I really like it because that's the approach that I think Newcastle should take.
That's 100%.
They gotta work for the future.
So that's basically that's me.
Okay,
so
I like that.
So what would could you give us like a rundown of what your starting 11 would be then? say you made these changes.
Yeah. Okay. So I would do. I'm gonna start. You're gonna have to say with Pope in goal.
Pope in goal.
Let's say I don't sell Trippier because I do know what you guys. I think the value you'll get for him financially is
It's
not worth the
It's
loss
not
of
worth
the
the
player
loss.
and the
Exactly.
captain and the leader.
That's something you need to take into account.
So then you'll start Trippier right back.
Yeah.
Then I would like my ideal is like De Ligt Botman, but I think more realistically we're talking probably like Huizen Botman.
I'm sorry,
or
I don't like De Ligt, bro. I'm the first person to say, bro. I'm sorry, he doesn't have the level
He's
to
an
reach
old
it.
school centre back.
Too much of the old school.
No, he's
I'm
very
sorry,
much old school.
yeah,
Yes.
but too much of the old school for like
Yes.
current day. You can like
maybe.
First of all, he's too injury prone, and then again, like even if you're pushing for top 4, he will be clumsy enough to like
He'll
lose
make
you
mistakes.
games.
Yeah.
He'll
Yeah.
make mistakes.
And
But I think he has a top level as a defender that is pretty rare.
but how
He has like the type of defending that you don't really see where it's like early, not so much like, I'll be honest, not so much like the last like season or two, like his sort of his aura, if that's what we want to say, but like
Yeah.
the intimidation factor he has
Yeah.
with attackers has decreased.
Yeah, for sure.
But if he can reclaim that, it's one of the few players that has that to that extent.
yeah.
But otherwise, someone like Pavard, or realistically, you sign someone young like Housen and accept that Cheryl.
I think Pavard is too much of a responsibility to put him at right centre back.
maybe.
As
should be in
it
the
has
Premier
League.
been evident before,
Yeah.
and even now he doesn't play like
Christensen,
he doesn't
I
play in a
love at
4
right
back.
centre-back. But basically, I would change that right centre back position
Yeah.
from Cher.
Fuck, bro.
And I
See,
would-
all this
I'd
time I
play-
thought
I'd play-
Botman was right-footed and Cher was
he's
left-footed.
So that's what I love Hincapié. I think Hincapié is like really nice, like for
Yeah.
him, but it's two left-footed centre backs, and there's just a purist in me that
Yeah.
wants a right and a left-footed
Yeah,
centre back.
no,
And then I
screwed
play
it up. I've
Livermento off
screwed
the
it
left
up
because I
already.
really think Livermento's brilliant.
Yeah.
I'd also sell Jacob Murphy, by the way, but that's
Yeah, but Jacob
He's a
Murphy is
useful-
one of the
For depth,
players
it's
that
nice,
represent.
He's
Like, I'd
useful,
rather
he
have
can play
Murphy.
right wing and right back.
Exactly.
And like
I'd rather have
everything. Like,
Murphy
it's useful.
than
He's a local lad
than
as well.
Almiron. Yeah.
Yeah, and I would start Livermento at left back, which opens the door for Byrne to leave. But I like that Byrne can play left back and centre back, and can like is a
Can
bit
be
of a
backup
leader,
as well, though.
Is dangerous off corners, stuff like that. Like I think it's a useful player. So then in the midfield, I'm playing a 4-3-3. I'd have Tonali, and then obviously Guimaraes, and then the other midfielder would for me probably be Dani Olmo, and I almost play in sort of
I
like a
understand
double
that.
pivot that allows Olmo to roam a bit
Fair.
from 10.
Yeah.
And
To
then the
right
front
wing. He
three-
needs to be able to roam to right wing.
Exactly. And then the front three would either be like, if we can't sign anyone else, like Almiron, Isaac, Gordon, but the ideal one is Diaz, Isaac, and Gordon. with
Yeah,
Brahim Diaz.
But so you'd rather, bro? I'm sorry. I'd rather play Olmo on the right, Diaz at 10 than.
Okay, I mean, I'm very happy to have them interchange. Like they can,
Yeah.
like I would have them.
Yeah.
That you can constantly switch.
But
off
Harvey
together.
Barnes at right wing, you shouldn't do that. Harvey Barnes, you should allow him to accept the backup role as
But I
Gordon's
think if you
backup.
can sell him for
But he's
like
getting
if
sold,
you can
no?
sell
Oh,
him
yeah,
for-
sorry,
like,
sorry,
I would
sorry.
sell him for 45 million rather than have him accept the
Yeah.
backup role. It's like I'd rather, if I'm in financial difficulties, I don't want 50 million player burning the hole in my bench.
No,
That's
no,
fair.
For sure, no.
That's fair.
So it's not a super thought out.
No,
plan,
but that's
the idea.
future.
I
that's a
like
good
it, I
plan
like
for
it.
the future. It's a good plan for the
I
future.
like it.
And I've also very much gone for the future.
Are you going next?
Yeah,
Go for it.
because I read in the article that I was like researching today, and this is not from FFP. This is from the Premier League. The people that are instilling the new profitability and sustainability rules, which is the same people that are tracking down Everton and Nottingham Forest this season.
And not Man City.
Yeah, yeah.
Not Man City, yeah. But they've literally come out and said specifically that these rules are for Newcastle.
Yeah.
They've literally blatantly said we are putting in these rules because we don't want Newcastle to be
Like
challenging
that.
for the Premier League just yet. They mentioned that Chelsea were able to do it within 2 years, City within about 5 years, and they want Newcastle to do it within 10 to 15 years. They don't want them to get
That's crazy
immediate
long. though.
success.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what they were doing everything they can to
Yeah.
make sure that it takes as
To
long
be
as
fair,
possible
Chelsea
for
haven't
Newcastle.
done it in 2 years.
No,
because-
when Roman Abramovich.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
at the start,
Yeah,
then fair
that's what
play.
I'm- that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay, I
Yeah.
thought you were
That
talking
was
about
one of-
now. I
that
was
was
like,
one of the
now he hasn't really
No,
done
No,
much.
but
I'm
that was
talking
one of the
about
first
Abraham.
like big money transfer,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
big money.
Oh,
come
their
in,
window was,
oligarchs,
like, one of the most
suddenly-
ex-
yeah,
Yeah, it
exactly.
was-
Suddenly they come in and it changes
They
the face
changed-
of
they
the club.
started
Like
that
that's
off.
that's
Yeah.
a Chelsea thing. You know?
So yeah, I've kept the future in mind. I've gone exactly the same as Luca with I'm selling Joe Linton as well. I mean,
Also for 45 or 60 million, like you guys predict.
Yeah.
It will be around that. If you sell him, it will be around that. I guarantee it.
So yeah, 45 to 50 mil. I even said 55 because Transfermarkt always lowball. Like asking price is always much higher than the Transfermarkt price.
42 it says for Joelinton.
Yeah. I reckon you could sell him for 50-ish.
I reckon you can sell him for max 40.
No, I don't know because they always lowball. That's the thing.
They don't always lowball though.
They do.
Bro, they're just inaccurate.
Pretty much
bro.
always lowball.
They're inaccurate either way.
Look at his contract, right? He's about to sign a new contract. He's running out of his contract. His value is not more than.
But if
50.
he signs a new contract and then they
if he signs a new contract, then it changes. But if he signs a new contract, they don't sell him.
Probably not. No, I do understand that. But in a hypothetical scenario, like I really would like Joelinton's the type.
Now
of player
that push is coming to shove, you kind of have to,
Yeah.
But somebody has to bite the bullet, and if you believe that Isak isn't that, if you believe in Isak to the extent where you're like, I'm not gonna sell him regardless, then it has to go somewhere else, and I think it goes to him.
So yeah, now I've gone for selling Elliot Anderson. He's a young player, he's got potential, but if Newcastle want to be what they want to be, Elliot Anderson's not good enough, and his transfer value is also pretty high. I reckon they can get 20 mil for him.
Okay.
They can get 20 mil for Elliot Anderson. And then on top of that, I would just sell a whole lot of Deadwood, which would amount to maybe 10 mil.
Talking like Target. And
Paul Dummett, Emil Kraft, Matt Ritchie.
I've seen these. But it doesn't amount to that much. Richie, you could probably sell him for like
1.5
mil.
Like
a packet of crisps and like a Maybach, and you take Richie.
Yeah, but those get rid of those little.
If you just do like a publication that's like visit Saudi Arabia, like if you just do like an ad, then you can get Richie on the side.
Richie's coming along with it. So that frees up the money to make these signings, which in my opinion are really not that crazy. So the first player that we're gonna sign.
And he says Kylian Mbappe.
No.
Lil Messi somehow.
No, the first player I would sign is Lenny Yoro from Lille. This guy is supposed to be the next best centre back out there. He is phenomenal. He's 40 mil. Real Madrid are in for him. United's in for him. He's a very good centre back. I would take him, especially given the fact that
Botman was also from
for like
Lille.
the next God knows how long.
And he was also from Lille.
Fair.
Which I guess to an extent has like a connection, but I
didn't even think of that, but that's possible.
Yeah.
Lascelles injury prone. You need a new centre back in there. It's obvious.
I looked at centre backs. The first thing I looked at were centre backs.
It's super 100%. Obvious.
I think it's the priority.
And he's not the only centre back I'm getting. He's not the only one either. So Lenny Yoro is in there. He's 18 years of age, so he might not start immediately, but he's one for the future. He'll be there in 10 years. You 100%. Can have him still in 10 years. So I would spend 60 mil on him because he's 40. Real Madrid's in for him. United's in for him. I would break the bank for this guy. Next, I would go for Messinho. I would go for Messinho.
Bro, he's worth like 60 mil.
Nah, he's worth 10 mil.
No, he's not.
He's worth.
No, it's 10 mil.
No,
we're not spending 10 mil.
We're linked with him. I can tell you now he's 60 mil.
No,
it says 10 mil.
It says 10 because it's Brazil, but it'll be 45 mil.
Yeah, no, not even 40. I would spend the 40, loan him back to Palmeiras.
Yeah, because he can't play in Europe yet.
No, but even if he could, I would loan him back.
Yeah.
Loan him back to Palmeiras. Pull a Hendrick.
So bro, seriously on the 2 years from now.
I'll let you land. But I think this is like. I think these are the types of risks that you can't afford to take if you're in this FFP tight rope.
They do.
Which is like let's spend 40 million on someone that like we think can be good 5 years from now. Yeah, I think that's
but when he comes in 5 years and he is better than Hendrick,
you hope.
Yeah, you hope, but it's very possible. He comes in there into a team that's like just about starting to break through properly, and then you throw that on top of the mix. It's like that meme where like he throws the fries in the pan and then the fire comes out. That's what that's meant to be. And that's like a previous investment.
No, this is poor.
So you buy him, loan him back to Palmeiras. Then I would also Minte from Feyenoord. He's loaned out from Newcastle.
He's loaned out from Newcastle?
Yeah, so I would take him back. Yeah, he is.
He's not loaned out.
He is loaned out. He's under contract from Newcastle. I would take him back.
Well, surely just let it.
And sell him.
No. I'd take him for depth.
But we're saying we're starting in the summer.
Yeah, take him back in the summer.
But is he
Bring him
not?
back.
Is he not loan just naturally ending?
Yeah, but they might try and loan him out again.
I can understand. Like his idea is like don't get rid of him
Don't
this
get
summer.
rid of him because I think there's a player in there. He's rapid. He's got dribbling. He's got decent football. His finishing could be better.
In the Eredivisie though.
But yeah, in the Eredivisie. But I wouldn't have him as a starter.
He doesn't start over Almiron.
No. I would have him for backup because
That's levels.
He doesn't start over Almiron.
Yeah, but that just shows the levels.
Yeah, obviously.
That's why I'm like.
No, but
and Messino's not going to play for 4 years. So for the next 4 years, you've got Minte running your right flank, and you're trying to compete for
loan, bro.
I didn't think he was because
no.
are you sure? Because I looked at the Newcastle. Web page. Like I looked at the Newcastle United page about players out on loan, and he didn't show up.
No, he's from.
I'll take your word for it.
Minte is with a H at the end or not?
Yeah. And then I would take Amadou Onana. This is the last big signing we're making.
Oh, I like it.
And then you'll have a midfield of Tonali, Onana.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
But how much do you reckon he goes for?
No, he goes for a lot of money.
On loan from Newcastle,
60, 70 mil. And that's all the signings we're making. That's all the signings we're making.
I think he goes for 85.
But then we have a couple free transfers that I've also lined up. You know, I love my free transfers.
Open the FM free transfers.
Bro's on the Barcelona train.
FM. He went to free transfers and said like sort by international caps. You know, like
the problem with like free signings is you need to have the pull, and I don't think that Newcastle has the pull.
No, they have the money.
Yeah, but not the pull.
Yeah,
like
but the money will do
I think Premier League has the pool, and the fact that you're playing for like an established like top half of Premier League means that like people believe that going there and playing well will do what goods for their reputation.
The players I'm going for.
It might not be that.
Let's see.
So the first one is centre back from Fulham, Tosin Adabara. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Okay, but he's a City Academy graduate. Not sure, maybe 2021. He's had a pretty good season this year. When he played against United, he was probably the best player.
Contract running now.
In the summer, it runs out. So I would definitely pick him up. I think every club needs to be looking out for this guy. I think this guy is really good, especially free transfer. Of course. It's a no-brainer. Then, this one, you're going to think it's crazy, right? But Isak and Wilson are injured a lot of the time. I would take... With in-house system, I would take Chris Wood. Look at his goal to XG ratio. It's the best in the league.
Yeah, because he's played 30 minutes this season.
No, that's
he played one game against Newcastle in which he scored a hat trick.
He's your striker if all hell breaks loose.
I can't lie.
They've had to play Gordon at striker.
Listen,
bro, guys.
No.
His XG rate is the best.
And in the house system, if you're building out a squad.
Yeah.
Listen, I thought you were going to
How dare you say you want to get rid of Matt Ritchie and Longstaff and then say you want to sign Wood, bro? That's a step back.
Actually an asset.
No, he's not, bro.
He's more than Ritchie.
They only signed him in the first place to remove competition and get him off of Burnley's hands. That's the only reason they signed him to start off.
He's had the best XG to goal ratio in the
Yes, but I think what is the risk of bringing him in?
But in the house system, he's perfect as well.
And you can bring on some
He's
wages.
going to be on some cheap wages.
Yeah, but if it depends how much he's on wages.
Realistically, you don't even want him to touch the field. You don't want him to touch the field.
If you get rid of all the people that you're talking about, fair enough.
It's a Luke de Jong.
No, but
Luke de
Jong
is a way better signing.
He's a worse Luke de Jong.
You don't want him to touch the field ever. This is a signing because Isak and Callum Wilson are both very injury prone. You kind of need to have a third striker because they've had to play Gordon up top this season, which is not what you want either.
I'm prepared for that.
Next, this player, this is a reach. I don't think this one would happen, but Rabiot is free this summer. But the only issue is that his mom is such an annoying agent, bro.
I'm sorry, his mom demands more than he does.
His mom is a problem. His mom is an issue. I think his mom will be in the way of him pulling up.
His mom is the reason
I really like you, but it's not going to work as your mom, bro.
Your mother is annoying.
Your mother's so annoying.
I'm sorry, but bro, his mom has turned off like so many clubs from wanting to sign him. Like single-handedly, her presence is like,
they're just like, I'm not going to sign you to not have to deal with her.
Yeah. That's literally what it's like. That's literally what it's like. And then lastly, there's a player on the market this summer that doesn't make all too much sense for them to get him, but you can't leave it. Spinazzola is going to be a free agent this summer.
Ooh.
You can't just let that.
Free
You can't
agent.
just
I
let
really
him,
like it because I think left back is a position where they could improve.
Yeah.
I really
He's
like it.
right-footed though. At
Yeah,
left
but
back.
he works. I mean, he's
Oh yeah,
very
no,
efficient.
100%. I'm gonna include him into
So,
my rebuild now, bro. I'm sorry. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I
let
would
me
take
add that one to the notes. You know,
So
that's a nice
Spinazzola
idea.
on a free as well.
I like it. That's a really good idea.
And then-
I didn't look at players whose contracts are running
I
out.
did
That's
not
a good
at
idea.
all, bro.
That's very
Especially
clever.
with the situation.
No,
that they're in,
100%. You're right.
It makes
you're
a
right.
lot of sense. But yeah, that's what I would do this summer.
Fair enough.
I would do that this
I
summer.
like it. See,
Yeah.
I've gone for more like established, I guess, to an extent, right?
I know that's what you're
So-
going to take the big swing because that's who you
yeah,
are. You know?
I'm going big, right? And I'm saying, look, PSG have been linked with him before. I was on the Isaac train before. I was on Isaac out. Not Isaac out, but look, for his career, the next step is Arsenal. And
Agreed.
Arsenal can free up enough money to sign him this summer
100
if they get
100
rid
mil-ish.
if they get rid of Gabriel Martinelli, which makes sense. And no, it makes sense. Relatively the same age, except Isaac is heads and shoulders above his level, right? And you can get 65 to 70 mil for Martinelli.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Arsenal can't whip out 120 mil out of the bag. They
Not
can't.
anymore.
They can't.
No,
Did it with Rice.
Yeah, that's too much. That's too much for
You
them.
can't do it back to back.
So they need to find a way to fund that
Or
signing.
back-to-back signings,
And
yeah.
to me, Martinelli sold, sign Isaac. However, if I'm speaking in terms of Newcastle's perspective,
Yeah.
I'm saying keep Isaac. You need a.
You can't.
I'm
get
sorry,
rid-
this guy's.
You can't
He's
get
convinced me in the past few weeks. Like
He's
this guy's a machine, bro.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
So I've gone for the other big hitter, right? The other one that's going to make a lot of money for you,
Guimaraes.
Bruno Guimaraes, right? Because PSG have already admitted that they're willing to pay 100 mil for him.
Yeah.
So I assume that if you sell him, you get like 110 mil, right?
Yeah.
You get maybe like 20 mil from Almiron selling him to like, I don't know, Al Hilal or some shit like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you
100%.
free up like 260 million in like transfer like budgets, right? So
Yeah.
first of all, let me just say that Spinazzola shout, I fucking love it. I think it's the best shout so far.
It's the best shout so far.
So far.
For sure.
But, right, I have also looked at players that potentially haven't been given the most opportunities at their club. For example, right, you go for someone like Brahim Diaz, where I feel like offensively, in terms of their midfield, they lack a little bit of creativity, right? You don't have it that much from Bruno Guimaraes, although he's just like a storm, like he's just like a force to be reckoned with. You just need a little bit of that flair in there. And I think obviously Dani Olmo brings that. But to me, Brahim Diaz, first of all, seeing that he's 35 on the market, steal
Yeah.
instantly, right?
No, that
But I
makes
think
sense.
50 mil for him is a ridiculously good price. But then I also think that you need to blow the budget, right? And go for a right wing, right? And I've gone for a right wing that can also shift into striker and has proven that he can do it at striker. Proven in the Premier League, Jared Bowen.
Ooh.
I think Jared Bowen would be such, like, if you have a front line of Anthony Gordon,
The house
Isaac,
system that would work
and,
as well.
and
I like
Bowen,
it a lot.
you have a
I like it
filthy-
a lot. I think you'll end up overpaying for Bowen based on the fact that it's
English.
English. It's a direct
League.
competitor.
I
for
wrote
those
60 mil
positions.
down,
No,
but
it's
like,
much more. Than
it's
that.
realistically
It's-
80 mil.
It's
80.
more
But
than that
max
because
80 mil.
it's more than that because it's also West Ham who are like they're direct competitors for the same types of positions. Like you're competing for maybe the 4th Champions League spot in a very good season, 5th or 6th for others. So it's like you're
But-
directly bolstering and competition, which means you have to add a 20% tax on
Newcastle
top of
have
whatever you
proven
want.
that they can finish above West Ham, right?
Of course,
and have
of
the
course.
the
But
project.
from West
the
Ham's
fun-
perspective, you're gonna ask for more because
Yeah.
it's
100
like-
mil. 100 mil is what you'd ask for.
Probably, yeah.
and you'll end up selling them for 80, you know, and then like.
And I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it just to assemble that trio, right?
But so you sell Bruno and then you get
Almiron. Still Bruno and Almiron,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So you get something to work with, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So then, obviously, left back is a massive issue for them, and I'd still sign this guy at left back.
Yeah, I agree.
However,
I
I,
feel
don't
like I
know how
didn't do
much
enough at
money
left
you can get for him. Tierney, right? Because think about it. He hasn't done anything at Sociedad. Granted, he has been injured, and that is his main problem, injury prone.
It's not helping
But
Newcastle's case either.
I know. But they just, like, Dewsbury Hall's a left back, no?
Yeah.
Well,
I don't watch him, but, like,
No, he is. he is.
Dewsbury Hall is already signed. Because
Yeah.
there was something in his contract that stated that if Newcastle
Dewsbury
don't
Hall,
place...
is not Lewis Hall?
Sorry,
Dewsbury Hall
Lewis
plays
Hall.
for
Lewis Hall.
Lewis-
Sorry. Lewis Hall.
Yeah.
That's Leicester.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And
Lewis Hall.
I'm pretty sure Dewsbury Hall is a centre mid.
Yes.
Yeah, Dewsbury,
Yes.
but
That's
Lewis-
right.
Yes,
Lewis Hall is
attacking.
the
Yeah.
left back, yeah.
No. Lewis Hall, right? But he's still young. Whatever. Newcastle are forced to sign him because they're not placing anywhere below 14th place, and it's already confirmed now.
Yeah.
So they're already spending 25 mil on him, which I think you could have spent the
It's not
25 mil a
horrible,
little
though.
bit smarter.
Yeah, but it's not horrible. It's not horrible.
It's not terrible. He's also young.
But
There's-
obviously-
he was really highly rated at Chelsea's academy.
Yeah,
Like,
of
he
course.
He was seen as like one of the crown jewels of the academy. So I think that's another thing is like you kind of bet on the pedigree of people. Like when people were like elite throughout academies, you also trust that like there's a talent there that's just like, special, you know?
Yeah.
Especially in an academy like, you know, Cobham where they have so many elite players.
Yeah, no, 100%. See, now, that was my left back shot until obviously he whipped up Spinazzola. It's like massive respect to that, because then you can have Spinazzola to start, who is also injury prone, and then Dewsbury Hall, Lewis Hall to
yeah.
I think
fucking.
Livermento can also.
Livermento can do it, but I'm thinking like, okay, Trippier's going to be injured relatively like
and
a
also
lot.
at some point you want to phase him out of the squad and
Exactly.
have Livermento.
Yeah. Exactly.
I think Livermento's amazing.
But then
really
I
really
also, just like you guys, centre back is like one of the
Big
positions. Like Lascelles cannot be coming in the way he does.
No,
I think that's basically our consensus here is
centre back.
centre back is your priority.
Yeah.
Priority.
Then give me maybe an attacker and a midfielder would be nice.
Yeah.
But like if
Centre back first.
your first decision is give me a centre back, give me
Yeah.
a left back,
Yeah.
and then let's cook from there. you
Yeah,
know?
exactly.
Yeah.
You need to build it smart from the back. Now,
Especially
I
their
assume.
defense has been
Oh,
lacking.
mate, that's
Heavily.
exactly my point. I was looking through
Yeah.
and I was like, okay, what happens when they lose games? They lose games when they concede a bunch of goals.
Yeah.
You can't hold 4 goals to Luton. You can't, you know, like
Fourth
things
to
like
Nottingham.
that. And like, the games
Their
where you're
core
like
is good, but it's
consistently-
injuries. No
Yeah,
Pope, no
Facts.
Botman,
It is true.
nothing.
It is true.
No
See,
Trippier.
my solution is wait one more season, get Ramsdale off of Arsenal.
Whoa.
That's
I genuinely think he's
And I
available. I think
think-
he's available in the summer.
I know, but like, I don't think it's worth spending the money just
Loan
yet, because he
obligation,
would be
with
50
an,
mil.
loan with an option to
clause.
buy.
Because they signed him like what 2 seasons ago for 50 mil. You're looking to make
But what
a
ab-
little bit of
What
profit.
about a
off of
loan?
him.
Or do you not think
a loan,
Arsenal do
yeah, but I don't think Arsenal want
To
that.
Newcastle.
However,
Tough.
Jonas, an Arsenal fan of ours,
Arsenal
an
fan of
Arsenal
He's a
ours.
big
fan
fan of
friend
us.
of
Not a
ours.
friend.
Big
He's a
fan.
fan. He's not a friend. He's a fan.
Yeah, he's a fan on the 90-minute podcast. However, he said that Ramsdale would be open to leave, and apparently the general
Yeah,
consensus in Arsenal is
Is
to
that
be
he's
open
keeping-
to
yeah,
let
yeah, yeah.
Ramsdale leave and
For
just
sure.
whatever, just see how
Makes
it
a whole
goes.
load of sense.
Yeah. But I haven't included that in my list. Obviously, I assume that Botman was right-footed
To be
and
included
Cher
in
was
a swap deal for
left-footed.
Isak.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to, if you want to.
100 mil, 100 mil plus
Striker.
Ramsdale, you know.
Yeah, that's a shout, but okay.
honestly,
It makes a lot of sense.
like if I'm Arsenal, I'm definitely chucking him in there.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, like, oh fine, you want 140 mil? Can I do Can I do 95 plus Ramsdale? Is what I'm
Yeah.
telling them.
If
And they're
I'm
telling me,
Newcastle,
and they're
I'm
telling me, and they're getting slapped in the face.
Yeah,
but you're
yeah.
definitely offering it. you
Yeah,
know?
just
You're chucking it out there.
see what
You're
they
chucking
say.
it
See
out
what
there
they
because
say.
maybe they think about it. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
It's still Arsenal.
Maybe they chuck a little bit off the price.
yeah. It's a talking point.
Do you guys know about the £1?
Yeah. Where
It's
they
still
offered
Arsenal.
£1 over,
Yeah.
Wasn't it
What?
Suarez.
Suarez.
Right?
Yeah.
What?
They were offering, I don't know how much
Like
for
his-
Suarez.
like they have to. So Liverpool had a thing where like I think they had to listen to offers, or they had to at least talk about offers with Suarez. Like they had to let Suarez meet a club.
Yeah.
If they offered more than £40 million. I think
Yeah.
it was at the
Yeah,
time. They offered 40 million and one.
Oh, I
One-
did
one
see that.
pound.
Yeah. Bro,
It's still
you
Arsenal,
know
bro.
what?
And
Just do it,
genuinely-
bro. Just
genuinely,
attempt it.
I'm so here for that type of behavior.
It's so funny, bro.
That's what makes it fun.
If we ran a club, that's exactly what we would be doing. you
And
know?
we'd make it work.
Oh, for
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I assumed that they needed a left-footed centre back. So I even dug into my own club, and I'm saying, right, we signed Inigo Martinez on a free last summer for Barcelona, and we'd be willing to let him go this season for like 12.
bag of chips.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you look at Newcastle, it's like, okay, you want to realistically just improve their squad depth. You don't want to get rid of too many
I
players.
like it. I
No,
like
You
it.
want to improve
no.
their squad depth.
Yeah.
So I'm saying sign Inigo Martinez because like, I mean, he's a winner, right? He's good in aerial duels, left-footed, technical. I would say it's a shout.
I think he could be overwhelmed by the pace and physicality of the Premier League very easily.
Potentially.
But I think if you're bringing him in for rotation, I think it's less of an issue than if you're relying on him every week.
Exactly.
If you're relying on him every week in the Premier League, I think you're a team that's going down.
I still think Cher should start week in, week out.
I don't hate it. That's why I also offered like a young centre back, is because I think Cher still has a season or two of like very good quality in him.
But then obviously I've said I'd get rid of Bruno Guimaraes, and I haven't really replaced somebody with his presence.
You need a core.
But this is nowhere close to a similar like replacement for Bruno Guimaraes. Wow, that would be the craziest shouts in the world.
From Southampton to
I've gone with Teun Koopmeiners.
Yeah, that one makes sense.
And look,
I don't hate it.
Look, he can play defensively. He can play offensive.
Yeah,
you can play him at 10 if you want to. You can play at defensive midfield. Left-footed player. Wants to leave. Openly said he wants to go to the Premier League. I think it just makes so much sense to sign him. And you look at that midfield trio, right? And you think, okay, you'd have Brahim Diaz at the 10, Koopmeiners and Tonali behind them, with a Joe Wellington running like...
I think you start... it depends if you have Bowen. I think you're running out of money with the players you've sold. I think you're probably getting close.
Look, but I can get rid of the Jacob Murphys and the Willocks.
Like you're saying you're trying to improve squad depth, and then you're like, just fucking sack off anyone.
No.
Look. Squad depth up until I need to sign Brahim Diaz. In which case, everyone who's not playing right now can go. We'll sell the under 19
look at the
squad,
midfield as well. But look at the midfielders. You have Lewis Miley coming through. You don't want to put too many minutes on his head, right? Because that's too much. Joe Wellington,
if he contributes anything in the next 2 seasons, it's a pleasant surprise. That's how you have to deal with it.
2 seasons from now, you could expect it. But all of the players I've listed, right?
On it, you don't want to be relying.
No, of course. But the players I've listed, right? Lewis Hall, Tierney, Bowen, Koopmeiners, Brahim Diaz. I think these are players that would gel well with the current age group of like what's coming through in Newcastle. And I feel like in 2 years, this is a team that under the correct manager, and I'm saying it now, Well, I mean, I already said it. Not Eddie Howe. I think anyone could do a better job than him. I think I could do a better job than him. But I just think it's a technical squad that could be brought to potentially title challenge.
No, not title
potentially challenge. 2 years from now. That's
Trusting
2 windows.
Actually,
like 4 windows basically.
In a best case scenario.
Yeah.
In a everyone fit, in a maybe one of the other 2 teams has a pretty big injury.
Yeah.
In a Isak has reached a level that is like he's genuinely up there with the best players in the league.
Look at the front three then.
I know.
You look at their front three and you think, okay, which front threes in the Premier are better?
I think Bowen has more of a ceiling on him.
But that's why you isolate my right wing.
But I'd maybe not sign Bowen and put Brahim Diaz that plays off a right winger that's sort of like more creative. And like allow Isak to flow into the channels and Gordon to like direct from the left, and then you have that money. You save 80 million on Bowen, and like you can Koopmeiners, Tonali, Joe Wellington is in and of itself a good midfield. You have 80 million. You can bring in either a top quality centre back, bro.
I don't want to.
Guys.
I don't want to splash too much money on the centre back though.
No, you should.
Virgil van Dijk.
You should. That's what changes your...
No. Come on now.
Maybe if he's
I'm
cheap,
throwing that one in the bin.
If he's cheap, he won't leave Liverpool because he loves Liverpool too much. If Liverpool are like, hey, we're doing reset.
No, he's not.
And like Van Dijk decides like, hey, I wanna, I don't wanna be here when it's like a bunch of youth. Let me go somewhere. And Newcastle are like, hey, we've got 55 million right here for Virgil.
Champions League. They don't offer. Virgil wants Champions League.
They would need to be. Not this season, but next season if Newcastle make champions.
If they hit, But I also
it's a type of player that Newcastle would. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut across you, but it's a type of player that Newcastle would love to have because he's someone who's won it all.
Yeah.
He's played at the top level.
Who
can instill something of
for sure.
Like you see Virgil van Dijk walk in your football club and you sit up a bit straighter, and he commands respect.
Yeah.
And I think Trippier, as much as he's a good captain, has not achieved what Virgil has achieved. So there's a respect for Virgil. Like I think that it also makes sense to bring him.
No, but I was thinking along those lines as well because I saw this summer Ramos's contract running out.
No, you
but
don't.
He's bad at football now.
Yeah, but Ramos is too old.
Yeah, but he's no longer like Virgil van Dijk is still a good centre.
I know. That's why I didn't go for him. But I definitely understand that train of thought because when I saw Ramos for free, I was like, they could use that.
Ramos has actually still had a decent season.
Yeah,
like his season's not been bad. He's out of his depth.
Yeah.
But let me just say as well,
Coke anyway,
for
but I-
striker, if you want to add some depth to your striker, I'm just saying Circe.
It's not.
Throw
No,
his name
that's a
into the
good shout. That's a
conversation.
very good
I
shout.
really like
Because
Circe.
That's
he
a very good
offers
shout.
something that like work rate. First of all, he wants to prove himself. He's hungry.
He's got hunger.
That guy's hungry, right? I mean, look, that entire Bologna team. Fuck it, get
Lewis Ferguson.
Motta for Newcastle. Done
It's not
done
horrible.
deal,
It's not
done
horrible.
deal, done
I
deal,
think he's
done
going
deal.
Juve,
Guys,
though.
Lewis
Done deal.
Ferguson.
Yeah, but fuck,
Lewis
he
Ferguson
shouldn't.
is so good for Bologna.
Who?
He's the
Bum?
He's,
What?
he's the captain of the club.
Bro.
Lewis Ferguson is the captain of an Italian club.
Literally, yes.
Lewis Ferguson.
Boys, no boys.
Bro.
Is this Duncan
Yeah,
Ferguson's old cousin?
miss me with that bullshit.
Do you know
bro.
who Duncan Ferguson is?
Listen,
The Everton Duncan.
I even
No.
considered
I'm pretty sure he's
I even
Scottish, though.
considered Salamakers for a right wing because I think he's fucking
Where is
good.
he?
Bologna as well.
Oh, okay.
He left AC Milan to join Bologna.
Lewis Ferguson captain Bologna. Like he just went off an
Jesus
injured
Get
game.
the
fuck
Like, he's
outta
literally
here,
club
bro.
captain.
Let me see his face.
Bro, he's unbelievable, bro. He's 24. Bro, boys, he's fucking
this-
guys.
Nah,
Guys,
come
this
on
is
now.
this is poor from you guys.
No, no,
this is
no.
really
You don't know
poor.
who Duncan Ferguson is.
Guys,
Wow,
this is
you
Duncan
don't know who
Ferguson.
Duncan Ferguson
Yeah,
is.
yeah, yeah.
You know,
No, of
he's
course
for
not,
Everton.
bro.
You don't know who that.
Bro,
Uh,
what?
He's an Everton
Guys,
legend.
Bologna are fourth.
Branthwaite. Oh,
No, he's too
too much
expensive,
money,
too
too much
much
money.
expensive.
And left-footed as
But
well.
I love it. I like
Yeah.
he obviously
He
yes,
is class,
but too expensive.
too expensive.
Tarkowski?
Yeah, but like
Ooh.
again, like
No,
That's
I'm sorry.
basically a share.
Yeah, but like, do you know?
Duplicate.
Yeah, but like,
No,
so,
not duplicate, but like, you know what I mean.
am I? Yeah, yeah.
Like,
It's
you've
he's
got
more,
share
of, he's
already.
more of a
Level of-
sitting
Yeah.
back, to
yeah,
be fair.
yeah.
But I'm just nah.
And he's more of a bit of an anti-football.
See,
like
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you don't want him for the future. That's the thing.
Dyche, Sean Dyche. He's a Sean Dyche player.
You know what? I'm like,
Should we call
it's
it-
not smart, but if Sean Dash went Newcastle,
Yeah,
yeah,
I would
obviously
love
that would
it.
be nice.
it would
I
be
would
funny.
love it.
It would be funny
I
because
would fucking love it.
I'd love to see you just fully back him throughout as they
Oh,
lose
bro.
every game, like
Oh, yes,
3-0.
yes,
Like
yes, yes.
you'd still be like, bro,
But they'll
trust
beat
me, he's better
Arsenal
than
at
Pep.
home.
He's like defending on his own like
Yeah.
16-yard box where it's
Bro.
like
And
it's
then
one of the
Chris
most
Wood coming for show.
yeah. Oh, bro.
Chris Wood is on.
Oh yeah,
Jay
He's-
Rodriguez, get the band together,
He'll
bro.
bench Isaac for Chris Wood, you know? like,
throw Andy Carroll
Oh,
into the mix
Chris
while you're
Wood?
at it.
yeah, you have
Jay-
no ear for it.
bro.
Anyways,
Yeah.
yeah, I think look, everyone's here. Everyone's come with good shouts.
Yeah.
Personally, I must say that shout, the
Spinazzola is the shout of the
No,
evening.
that one came
I
from
watched the Euro
left.
2021
It's a shout of the
and
evening.
like watch like
Even
Spinazzola
for
convinced
But like, to be
me
fair,
there.
it's still
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
the same Spinazzola. since
Whoa,
he's
did
been
you say for
injured.
Napoli last
Oh, no,
season?
no, Roma. Hey,
Hey, listen, this guy
I was
doesn't know.
thinking
This guy
Di
doesn't know.
Lorenzo for a
This guy
second.
doesn't know
Yeah,
the
yeah,
captain
Di
of.
Lorenzo.
But then I
Yeah,
also
Di
thought
Lorenzo.
Di Lorenzo at right back. If they didn't have the depth that they have at right
I
back,
think
Di Lorenzo would be a
that's the
fire
thing, like,
signing.
Right back was kind of the reason. One of the reasons I went to sell Trippier isn't because like, oh, I think Trippier could go. I think it's one of the few positions that they have multiple options.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so if someone has a good offer for him, he's a bit too old to get a good
Yeah,
offer
no,
for.
no,
So
that-
it
that's
won't
the
go.
main issue with
But
it,
like,
yeah.
if they have the depth that if you get a really good offer, you should think about
Yeah.
it. You know.
Yeah,
For
no,
sure,
It's
for
true.
sure.
It's true. But
Okay.
Anyways, yeah.
So is that us?
If you haven't enjoyed our Newcastle rebuild, you can go find a problem with someone else, right?
Yep.
Anyways, I've really enjoyed this. Obviously,
Yeah.
we've just filmed the podcast before this. If you haven't checked that one out, check it out.
Check it out.
leave a comment actually who you think was the best rebuild or
Well,
which
the
one
best-
which one you like the most if you're
Facts.
still
Replacing
around.
Dan Ashworth here.
Yeah.
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 Replacing
Ooh,
him.
Who would you want
definitely
in
me.
charge of your club?
Definitely
Who would you want in charge of your
definitely me,
club?
Definitely me.
And remember, they don't know Lewis Ferguson, so
Yeah.
They don't know Duncan
Boo, fucking who, my friend. All right.
Well,
Have a nice life, I guess.
Nice life.